Today I'm working on a seat bracket for a Ford Expedition. The fellow who owns this truck is a bit taller than usual. So what I've done is I've created a bracket that's going to mount to the floor pan there in close to the driver's seat. And of course, it's a little oversized. Usually the bracket will come here, go in this direction, and then it will taper down and then meet this bottom bolt. What I've done is seat it around the top so that he's going to be able to put his seat a couple of inches further to the back and give him some leg room. What I'd like to explain is how I made this bracket in the very beginning. By the way, I'm volunteering to do this, so here we go. I'm going to explain a little bit how I made cardboard, and I started to bend it the way that I would like to see it go. Of course, in the back, I 90'd it with a couple of pieces here. Started to make it so that I could catch the shape. I've lifted it off the carpet. The seat is actually going to bolt in to the top so here. And when I got to the angles, I want to explain a little bit how I did this. If you're going to use cardboard and you want to catch your shape, and maybe you're using just a minimum amount of tools, you can take a piece of cardboard, and what I did was glue it to the back side here. That left this piece to flap. I left there a tab that was a bit long, and then once I did my fold to find the angle I was looking for, I just drew a line, I came back inside and I hot glued it. As I came down, I did the same thing over here. This is a little different because the angle goes in the opposite direction, so you can't leave a tab here because the carpet and the floor are here. So what I did is I just traced a line and then came back in and glued it in that position. That's why the cardboard pieces are here. That was to catch the angles in the beginning when it was a piece of cardboard. While it was a piece of cardboard, it's very flimsy, and you want to make a template, so you only have to use the metal one time. In doing so, I came back and I went ahead and cut a 2-inch strip of wood. It was a bit, I think it's maybe 1/4 inch, something like that, a little less. Anyhow, I went ahead and started to wrap it around the exterior of the cardboard. This helped, really make it stable so that we can make a nice solid template here. All I can tell you is it looks like we're about there, and what we're going to do today is we're going to start to bend it and make it out of metal. Behind we're gonna call it a pass. Get over here, we can have a look at it. This one's still gonna need to be cut. I'm gonna go in there and trim it right here at the bottom, get it to match this one, then the height will match. Everything's looking pretty good so far. But that's the general idea. That's what we're trying to come up with, and I think it's gonna work. So far, so good. I can share a little more confidence in my words, but for right now, I think I'm gonna keep it humble. All right, so there we go. That's the finished product. As you can see, the bracket works with the factory holes. The bracket's also made to be a little bit larger for somebody who's a little bit taller. This way that the seat is actually mounted a little further back on the bracket than the factory brackets. In this case, it worked out. There's a couple custom little parts that are gonna have to be made here and there to match all 4 holes. Right now, 3 of the holes are mounted, but this is what it looks like on the driver's side. So you can see what you can do if you ever have to make some custom brackets for the Ford. Thanks for watching.
I never joined the gang.